Everybody, hope you guys are doing well. We have the latest patch notes for update 7.2, which is currently being tested on the PC PTS, or the public test server. I was able to get on there today, test a few things out, and we have the official patch notes in front of me. So every time PUBG posts these, I like to go through and talk about everything. But there's a lot of information here, so I'm going to try to skim over the important things and leave some other things out because there's just a lot going on. There's a lot to talk about. Some of these things being pretty controversial, involving ranked mode and bots. And before we get into this, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been supporting the stream and my YouTube channel. This is actually my first full video with my brand new microphone. And this is probably going to be my last video with my quarantine beard, unless I decide to keep it, but it's getting pretty crazy and I think it's about time to shave it off. So we'll see. But thank you guys. I really appreciate all the support. So let's get into the patch notes. This is going to be pretty crazy. I think we should start with what PUBG has to say first. So welcome back, survivors. Update 7.2 is now available on the test servers and brings with it weapon balance changes, new ways to play with fire, and the long-awaited ranked mode. Personally, I've been waiting for ranked mode forever. With ranked mode, PUBG players can finally test their skills against the best players in the world, rising and falling through the ranks for great rewards and, of course, bragging rights. In any good rank system obviously has a way to be deranked and lose your rank, because it's always, you need something to be fighting for and more stuff on the line. So this update also brings bots to PC servers, which we know has been a controversial topic amongst the community the last few weeks. Rest assured, we plan on making improvements to how bots currently work, and most importantly, bots will not be in ranked mode games. To learn more about our intentions with bots, you can check out this link, which will take you to the PUBG bot dev letter. So that's it for PUBG. Now this is me going through the patch notes. I know they've been getting a lot of flack for bots, but you know, there's just a lot to talk about here. So I guess we'll just start. You can watch this video. I'll leave it down in the description box below if you guys want to check it out. And as soon as I find out anything about the schedule for console, I will leave a comment, a pinned comment, and I'll put that information also down in the description box as well. So here we have it. This is ranked mode. This is what it's going to look like in the lobby. So we're going to have the regular lobby that's out. Then we will have a secondary lobby for rank. So we have normal mode, ranked, arcade, training mode, and custom match, and it will show your rank here. So I read through this a bunch of different times. They repeat a lot of information in this in the patch notes about ranked. So I'm going to try to do this in the best way that I know. So I'm going to go down first and show you guys. Here's how it works. So they were testing this in PUBG Labs. If you guys tried that, you probably saw this. If not, it's just a pretty traditional rank system. Where you play a couple ranked matches in this playlist, which is going to be squads only, and then you get ranked in one of these 6 tiers. So we have bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and master. And then within those 6 tiers, we have 5 different divisions. So we have, say, bronze 5, bronze 4, bronze 3, bronze 2, bronze 1. And then after that, you will make it into silver, and then you will follow that same trajectory to get into gold, and you will keep climbing as much as you can to the highest rank possible. And to me, I love this kind of system. Instead of just grinding to make it to whatever level or however many hours of game time, it's actually going to be based off of your competition, how well you can climb. And I think that's really cool. And it makes every game have a little bit more pressure and the old school PUBG feel. But I know there's a lot of other things that are kind of going on that are making players a little disappointed. And I guess we'll start with that first. So right now, ranked mode is only going to be for squads. So they have 1-man squads, 2-man squads, and 3-man squads are going to be available. Yes, 3-man squads is doable. 2-man squads, kind of debatable, but I don't know why you would do that. And if your rank is on the line, unless you're just going for a skill thing or you're hiding the whole time, going in as a 1-man squad obviously doesn't really make a whole ton of sense. And it's kind of a bummer because I know a lot of people out there are solo players. But in my mind, I think this is the right move to start out with. And PUBG often does this. They start off kind of with the minimum, or they'll start off with like a test phase, and then they can always add from this from the start. You saw this with Call of Duty. I mean, when they launched Call of Duty, they just did 3-man squads first. I know this is different. This is PUBG and ranked. And also, there's a lot that goes into this. I think PUBG may want, from what I've read and heard from people talking at PUBG, PUBG, the main competitive nature of the game is playing squads. So I always kind of make this analogy, so sorry for repeating myself, that PUBG, or playing online multiplayer games, shooters, in my mind, is like playing digital basketball, right? It's the same experience every single time you go down the court and you're shooting the ball. Same thing if you're playing COD, Halo, PUBG. You're playing on the same map sets or one map over and over again. But every time you play, it's with different people. You can play by yourself. You can play 3-man, 2-man. Same thing, pick up basketball. You can play 1, 2, 3, 5v5. But the competition level of basketball is played at a 5v5 scale, and that's what it's meant for. And I think that's what PUBG's trying to go here. But obviously they want to cater to everybody else. And one of the issues here is that I think a lot of people at PUBG have been saying, if you don't like bots, go play ranked mode. So a lot of people were waiting for ranked mode to be like, okay, I'll just play ranked now every game. So now if you're a solo player or a duo player, you really can't avoid bots, because the only way to do that is to play in ranked. I think the bots aren't that bad, but that's a topic for a whole nother video. So scrolling down to get ranked, well, I guess we should say that there's going to be 64 players in each lobby. There's going to be no bots. And there are additional requirements for starting a match in ranked queue. So first and foremost, you're going to have a minimal survival mastery level. I don't know why they said this is based off region. No information on this yet, but say you need to maybe be level 50 in the mastery system, just making that up. And this helps against cheaters, because what if you get banned because you're cheating? You can't just make another account and then start cheating in ranked again. You'd have to level all the way up to 50, which I think is a great idea. Also, depending on the region, you may need to verify your account, which again helps with cheaters, because a lot of people steal other people's accounts and then cheat with them. A lot of times the accounts people are cheating with are stolen. So this will help with that as well, and help PUBG and also help you not get your account stolen. And then on top of that, if you're entering in with a buddy or a squad mate or a full squad, everybody will need to have completed their placements, and they cannot be within 10 divisions from each other. So scrolling back down, if we take a look at this, so we have the 6 tiers and divisions. So 10 divisions is actually a pretty big gap, because I was getting a lot of messages today, people being like, what if I can't play with my friends? What if my buddies are too good, or they rank way past me because they play too much, or they play more than me? But let's do a real world scenario of this, or real world example of this. So say you are ranked at silver 1, which would be the top of the silver category. You have 10 divisions to play with your friends. So 10 divisions would take you all the way to the bottom of bronze 5, which is the very bottom tier you could be at. And then 10 divisions forward would bring you all the way to platinum 1. So if you're a silver 1 player, you can play all the way from bronze to platinum, which is 4 out of the 6 tiers, which is actually a lot of space right there. And I feel like that will cover a lot of people and their group of friends. If someone's master, obviously they're not going to be able to play with a bronze level player, and that just makes sense for ranked purposes. But I feel like most people will be able to play with their friends within some reason, and I feel like this is a great way to start that system. Now on to your rank and how climbing works. So basically each individual player will get points based off their placement, assists, and kills, and then they will receive RP after they die. When a player exits a ranked match, they will be presented with a new pop-up celebration that shows players their performance metrics as well as their change to their RP, which is pretty cool. And then players who are diamond ranked or above, which right now it's just diamond and master, will actually begin to face RP decay, which means that they will start losing points if they are inactive in ranked for over 1 week. And this is to ensure that someone just doesn't get a really high master rank and then just sits there for the entire season. You actually have to play at least once a week to keep that up. And then also, if you just got really lucky and won a bunch of games, you can't just sit there at your really high rank. You actually lose it. But again, this only matters if you're diamond or above. And then you will be receiving additional rewards at the end of each season, depending on your rank. All players will receive a nameplate and emblem recognizing their tier, and players who ended the season at gold or higher will receive a set of ranked reward skins. And I think they said something, if you're in the top 500 players, you will receive a special reward. And then with the new ranked mode, we finally get a new leaderboard. The old one was kind of outdated. This one will actually show the top 500 players per server sorted by RP, when the previous leaderboard basically just showed who played the most, because it was just based off total points, not total skill, which is okay, but it just kind of becomes a grind fest, and I feel like this is a way better way to do it. And then we have bot opponents. So I don't want to turn this video into a bot video. I've already made one of those, and we got these on console first, so I've been dealing with these for a little while now. And the information is exactly the same. And I'm just going to tell you guys from my personal experience what it's like. So when you first start playing, PUBG needs to recognize your MMR in the game. Why they couldn't do this with our previous stats, I'm not sure. But you might have some really rough games on PC once the bots come in, unless they changed it. And sometimes that still happens. As you play more and more games, you will see less and less bots. And it's fairly obvious when you're going to run into a bot. They can't do many tasks like ledge grabbing or driving. You're going to see them walking around in weird patterns or just running right towards you, and they burst fire a lot. So it's very easy to identify whether it's a bot or not. And on console, all of them have underscores in their name. But if you continue to play and look past them and just treat them as other human players and not as bots. For me, I tended or started to notice less and less bots, and now most games I don't even see that many bots. Occasionally I'll kill 1 or 2 in a match, and then occasionally maybe 1 out of 2, maybe 1 or 2 out of 10 matches, I will be in a lobby with a ton of bots, and it's really noticeable. But the other 8 or 9 matches out of 10, I barely notice them. So it's been a lot better, and PUBG is working on some new things, some better bots. They're updating it, and who knows what the future is going to have in store for this. But I really feel like if you just keep playing and kind of forget that they're there, you might actually forget it. But if you really harp on it, every time you kill a bot, it ruins your day. This is not going to be a great experience for you when this launches on PC. Moving on from the bots, let's talk about weapon and armor balance. And I was pretty surprised to see this because other than some of the major weapon overhauls that PUBG has done in the past, they're usually pretty quiet, balancing weapons from update to update. And I feel like I've been seeing more of this recently. So I think PUBG is just trying to make everything a little bit better, which I think is huge. And they're starting with the M4 first. So their words, the M4 has long been the most powerful AR and one of the top guns in the game as a whole. So we've adjusted it and buffed some other ARs to give players alternative options. And life is all about options. So this is pretty cool. So right here, they're saying that we're getting increased reload times for the M4, M16, and SCAR. And we're going to talk about the M4 nerf. So let's scroll down. I think they have it here. So the M4 is going to get decreased damage by only 1 from 41 to 40. Decreased muzzle velocity from 880 to 780. So that's a pretty big difference at long range. And they changed the damage curve distance from 60 to 450 to 50 meters to 350 meters. So check out these graphs. I thought these were pretty interesting. So the first one is the assault rifles in the game and its kill distribution over distance. So we have a graph here. On the left side, we have percentage of kills. And then on the bottom, we have 0 to 300 meters. So I think it's easiest to start off looking at 300 meters. So say, for example, all the ARs at 300 meters, which ones get the most kills? And in every category, it's basically the M4, which is kind of funny. And you'll see followed by the M16 here. And then after would probably be the SCAR and then the AKM in fourth. Then if we go and split the difference at 150 meters, you'll see M4, M16 still taking the lead there. So you see a lot of the same guns in the same position. And then the AKM a little bit wider there. So the AKM is actually in second over the SCAR. And then you have the QBZ, the Mutant, and the Barrel really thin at 150 meters. And then if we go to, let's just pretend we're at 25 meters, right at the beginning here is 0. The M16, very narrow here. There's not a lot of people using the gun at that distance unless it's the first gun they picked up, but not by choice. And obviously the M4 is winning out, but then you see the AKM's got a big gap here and the barrel, that's at its biggest point. But really the barrel, pretty small across the board. So what they're trying to do here is make these more even across the board or have areas where each gun kind of shines. So some guns are going to be better in the beginning, some are better later. But the ARs are an interesting case because they're good in almost every circumstance. It's just showing that really the M4 is what people are choosing to use for most of their kills. Then scrolling down, this was my favorite graph. This is kill distribution over phase. On the left again, we have the percentage of kills, and then on the bottom, we have the circle phases. So the beginning of the match is 0, and then the end of match would be 10. And then we have all of the ARs again, but this time they've compiled the other weapons. So we have all the shotguns, SMGs, DMRs, and sniper rifles as their own category, which is really cool. So the first thing you're going to notice is that the shotguns only really appear in the beginning and then totally fall off for the rest of the match. So this is showing you that people are landing with shotguns or maybe holding on to them for just a little bit, getting kills, and then dropping them for other weapons. And then same thing here. We have a huge wide gap here with SMG kills. So a lot of SMG kills in the beginning of a match. And then as the match goes on in the mid game from say 4th to the 8th phase, very low SMGs, but then it actually pops back up at the end again because SMGs are great up close. I'm actually surprised to see that because they're so good up close. And then we have the same thing with ARs. So the ARs are pretty thin here and then get bigger as time goes on. And then the M4 just completely dominates the map towards the end game. Really from phase 2 on, if people can get an M4 or their favorite AR, that's what they're using. And then you can see DMRs come into play. And sniper rifles is pretty funny, just a giant like kind of bell curve or U curve here. So in the beginning, you know, you're really only using these if you're a good player in the beginning or you see somebody running away and you try to no scope them with a sniper. You don't have a scope yet. They become very popular in the mid phase. And then at the end, as you get closer to your opponents and the circles get smaller, you're obviously maybe putting those away or tending to use your ARs or SMGs in that situation. So like I said, not that every weapon has to be used in every phase, but you want to see it have a phase where it's being used. And it kind of shows us here that the shotguns aren't really getting that love and the SMGs are definitely not getting as much as I thought they would be because I think SMGs are pretty powerful. But again, This might just be PC data. This might be all over the place, but on console, a lot of people end up using SMGs. Scrolling down, we have weapon damage per round per pickup, and the M4 is just leading the way across the board, followed by the SCAR in second place, and then the AKM, which to me just makes sense because the SCAR is kind of something that you hold on to until you find the M4 usually, so a lot of people are using that, but I was kind of surprised to see that the AKM was in second, but there you go, that's the information, and the M16 and Mutant are at the very bottom. And with that being said, PUBG is buffing the M16 and the MK47 Mutant. So they said here that because they're not full auto, this already leads people to not really pick up the gun as much, or both these guns as much. So they're decreasing their recoil when firing in quick succession in semi-auto and burst mode. And they're adding tracers for the shooters only, which is pretty interesting. I didn't see that at first. And the barrel is also getting a slight buff, which this gun is really strong, just the recoil is crazy. So they're decreasing that recoil and increasing the muzzle velocity from 680 to 740. So watch out, this thing is going to be a wrecker on the battlegrounds. And then same thing here, they're finally trying to help out the shotguns again, giving them some increased limb and head multiplier, increasing the hipfire accuracy, decreasing the accuracy penalty during movement, and decreasing damage drop off over distance. But obviously this just makes me worry that they're just going to be really OP off the bat and then people are still going to drop them. Then we have the S12K, which is getting some additional bullets when it's got the extended quick draw mag up to 10. And the suppressor now adds a slight pellet spread reduction. The pump action shotgun is getting increased pump action speed, and the sawed-off shotgun is getting increased reload speed, and nothing for the DBS or the double-barrel shotgun. Then we have a small change to armor, but I actually think this is pretty big for the game, and I like what PUBG is doing here for both reasons. First here is for your inventory space, so having a vest gives you more storage capacity, but if someone destroys that vest, you obviously lose that inventory space, and then you can't pick up any more items, and it's just kind of annoying. So now instead of your vest getting destroyed and falling off your character, you will still be wearing that vest and can use it for storage, which I think is pretty cool. And then on top of that, even if your vest gets completely destroyed, it will still provide 20% protection and a slight aim punch reduction once destroyed. And I think this is great because players who fight a lot are at a disadvantage because they're constantly running around with damaged gear. And the fact that now it won't completely be destroyed and you still have a little bit of protection, I feel like is a nice quality of life buff for those players and people surviving into the end game. And the last big part of this update is a really fun addition coming to the game, and this is more gas can improvements. I guess they're saving the fun for last. And this was something that was hinted at in the beginning of the Season 7 trailer where they showed a player throwing a gas can off a moving train. And with this, we are getting the ability to throw the gas can, equip it as a melee item, and also pour gas onto the battlefield that can be lit on fire for traps, taking out enemies, bridge blocks, whatever you want to do or whatever you can think of, which I think is pretty cool and adds, again, another layer to the sandboxy nature to PUBG or of PUBG that we all love. So what you can do here is you can equip the gas can, like I said, in the melee weapon slot. You're actually like holding the gas can like a person would. And then if you press the attack button, you will actually pour gas on the ground. It takes about 7 seconds to empty the can. And if you let go of that button, you actually drop the can. You can't pick it back up. So make sure you pour out all the gas that you can, or you are ready for that action to happen. And then the spilled fuel can be set on fire with gunshots, Molotovs, and grenade explosions. The fire deals the same damage as a Molotov, but burns longer for about 20 seconds, and it does last for quite some time. And the fuel on the ground will last for about 3.5 minutes, and then it evaporates. So I think this is pretty cool. It gives you enough time to maybe set up a trap in a building or set it up across a bridge if you're doing a crazy bridge block. And I don't think this is going to be too overpowered because they've reduced the amount of gas cans that were spawning in the season with the glider. Was that season 5? And really, I think it just adds some more layers to the game. And if it ever becomes a problem, they could always remove the feature or nerf it. And most people won't even think about this, but for the people that like to have some fun and really plan things out, I'm sure we're going to see some creative stuff online and on the forums. And then also, as I mentioned, you can throw the gas can like a melee weapon. You can hold it up in the air and throw it. And when you do, when it lands, some gas will fall out and then you can set it on fire again and make a little explosion. And if other gas cans are caught on fire, they will explode. And I think this is going to be a great way to actually use the gas cans instead of having to shoot them 3 times and remember, okay, I shot that one 3 times and that one 5 times or whatever. I think this is a much easier way to utilize them, and I think more people will do so. All right, and then quickly here, we have some changes to the UI and sound. A couple that I thought were the most interesting were the tire improvements. So now when a tire is damaged or has less than 50% durability, it will blink orange. When the tire reaches 0, it will be red, and when it's fine, it's white. And then there's a seat UI improvement. So now you'll know when there's an enemy player in your vehicle seat, which I think is kind of interesting. And then on top of that, they're making some changes to the blue zone sound. So they added in a humming around the edge of the blue zone to know that you're there without having to turn around, or to know it's like right on your back. But it is kind of loud. So now they're making it's only going to buzz when the circle is moving in. And then when the circle has stopped and you're running near the blue zone, you won't hear it anymore. It is pretty loud and would definitely kind of block out some of your audio. So they've improved that. The second track of the Survivor Pass Season mission has been unlocked. And they're also adding a few small compounds back to Vikendi. When they redid Vikendi, they took out a bunch of different compounds, and there's some really desolate areas. So I feel like these little compounds will help that and also give people a little bit more loot love. Then we got some new skins coming into the game. We have the Naval Officer set, and then we have some streamer skins. And then, yeah, a bunch of bug fixes to end this out. So if you guys want to read through all of the nitty gritty details, I'll leave the full patch notes down in the description box below. Or you can Google this or follow PubG on Twitter. Again, I just have fun going through this and talking about it with everybody. So hopefully you guys found this useful. And again, I will try to let everybody know when we find out when this will come to console. And hopefully you guys are still enjoying PubG. I know a lot of people are worried about the future of the game, but I feel like maybe right now there's some weird things going on. But the big picture here with ranked, different playlists, hopefully people coming back into the game, more features, new things coming. I think we're going to have a really awesome game for a long time to come. And I'm still having a ton of fun playing PubG. So hopefully I'll see you guys on the battleground. So as always, thank you all for watching. I'm Blitz5, and peace out.